Thank you so much for joining me. The first question is, what is your name?
Hi, my name is Alan.
What high school did you go to and where are you at now?
So I went to a Catholic school called St. Mark's Catholic College, which is around northwest Sydney in like the hills area. Um, right now I'm at UNSW and I'm studying a Bachelor of Commerce and Advanced Science. Within those, I'm majoring in finance and also psychology.
I'm giving you permission to be a little bit of a show off here. What subject did you state rank in?
So I state ranked in General Mathematics 2, which is now called Math Standard 2, and I came equal first in the state for that.
Any particular mindset going into your last year of high school, and whether you had any fears or expectations of yourself?
Sure. So going into year 12, I kind of just rewinding a bit back to year 11 as well. I honestly never really had set any of those expectations upon myself that I have to do great. It kind of just arose out of nowhere where I figured I should probably start taking school more seriously. And I guess going into year 12, I had a mindset of I'm just going to do my best. Like for my school standards, I wasn't sure what is considered good, what is considered bad. Just do your best and take it one step at a time. It's not like I had the mindset in mind that I wanted to state rank this or I wanted to get all band sixes or anything. It was just I wanted to do as good as I can to the best of my capacity. And so I guess something that I was afraid of was what if my best eventually wasn't what I was satisfied with? But I guess that expectation was a bit detrimental to me because I just knew that at the end of the day, I had to do my best.
Mm.
In terms of my peers being on the same page, like there were students in my school who were obviously very driven and
Mm.
we supported each other and I even looked up to them and got help from them and vice versa. But obviously not being in a selected school, the mentality isn't quite as consistent with everyone aiming for a high ATAR or aiming for a particular degree at uni. It
Mm.
was more so people that wanted to try were there and they did try. People that didn't, I guess, separated themselves a bit from that group and just went along with it.
Mm.
And I guess being immersed in that mixed community was a bit interesting and unique. Sometimes it's like, wow, it's like, what am I doing? Am I part of this group or this group? But then at the end of the day, I just figured like everyone's just doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Um, it was insightful, but I tried to try my best to stay on top of things and be a part of the group that wanted to go to uni because that
Mm.
wasn't a very. It's not like everyone wants to go into this particular degree thing in my high school. It's just people have their own pathways, and I think my pathway was to go to uni, so I stuck with that group that was a bit more academically motivated.
Mm. Fair enough. Did you have any distinct highs or lows from the final year of high school?
A higher to me was definitely the day of graduation. And that's not saying, oh, I'm finally out of here or yes, it's finally over. It was more so I could see the culmination of the whole year manifest through some physical celebration. And I could see
Mm.
it all around me. Everyone was smiling, everyone was happy. Everyone was like, yeah, this is the stepping stone to the next path and next step of our lives, which wasn't the HSC in 3 weeks, but I mean, on a broader scheme, it was, the next step past high school. Um, on the other side of things, I guess on the lows, it was I guess being so focused or trying my best to stay motivated throughout the year and having not a particular goal, particular ATAR, but just trying to do my best. You could see that some people that may have been in your groups, your friendship groups, aren't particularly receptive to that, and their goals are misaligned with yours, or you guys don't have the same visions for your future, and so naturally there is that distance that might come from it, and even conflict at times. People even criticizing you for trying because it was lame or something.
Mm.
Um, it's a bit strange to say it, and it sounds a bit cliche even, but some people definitely don't like it when you switch up your mentality, and they think it doesn't align with what they do, and so it might lead to a bit of ostracization and also, I guess, loneliness. Even like it's hard to stay motivated when the people you spent 5 years with all of a sudden don't want to because you're changing or you're doing something different and not messing around in class and being a class clown. Like that was what I was used to. And switching that up was a bit interesting, but I knew what I wanted to do that. I guess that did, although on surface it doesn't sound like it's a horrific one-off event, but it did have an impact on my motivation and even my attitude towards things. It could result in me being pretty jaded towards my studies. Like I would still do it, but I was just like, oh, I have to do this again. I have to do this. I acted like a class in
Really?
like year 9, 10, 11, even sometimes in year 12. But in year 12, it was like I still was serious when it was necessary. Obviously, I wasn't the master class clown, but I was an apprentice.
It's only gone downhill from there.
Yeah, the humor as well has definitely gone down.
A little bit of a fun question. Did you have any pre-exam rituals or superstitions during year 12?
So my school has a summer and a winter uniform, and the summer uniform is like a lot more comfortable and light, and like you could wear like the school shorts and you don't have to wear a tie. And the winter uniform was the other way around. It was, you have to wear long pants, you have to wear tucked in shirt, you have to wear the tie, you have to wear a blazer. And during winter exam blocks, so like around trials, they didn't really care about what uniform you wore. So I made it kind of my little niche to go in the summer uniform and wear the shorts. And it was like very distinct because there was like 150 people in one room and everyone wearing long pants, and then they got their blazers behind the chairs. And then there was just me wearing the shorts. And I felt comfortable and I felt like I was in the zone, which is a bit weird, I don't know, but I particularly did remember doing that as a pre-exam habit or ritual.
Are there any personal or academic tips that you'd like to share?
I mean, to start off, I can definitely say that I don't find maths intuitive. Like, I do a finance degree, which does have maths. Like, it's not pure math, it's not extremely difficult maths, but it still doesn't come intuitively to me. I wouldn't say I'm like prodigy or mathematician or anything. But something that I did find really effective to me was I didn't really do any note taking or anything. I know people who actually do take notes for maths, and I probably wouldn't do that, and I didn't do that just because I feel like the best way to improve your ability at something like doing general maths and potentially even the higher levels would be to just practice with the exams, subject yourself to the exam conditions, and do as many questions as you can. Seek feedback and mitigate your errors accordingly. Like in my case, I honestly, like 3 weeks out from the HSC, I would just do all the practice papers available. I remember doing like the past 25 years of the HSC exam. And like, depending on how well you want to do or as motivated as you are, like doing that to me trumps doing any like rote learning or just writing notes even, because it's a math subject, not like a content heavy subject like business studies. So I would definitely advise people to actually just do the questions and practice doing the questions, because going into uni, the luxury of having practice materials available is not a thing anymore.
If someone only has a few weeks or days left to study for an exam, how might they make the best use of their time?
If you're still studying for the exam, I think the best way would be to practice with the material. And that's what me and other people in my age group, like at my school that was studying for that exam, did. They did practice exams, even did them together, seeking feedback together. It was like, I think that's the best way to do it.
Could you share a quick word, or is there something you'd like to say to those going into their final exams this year?
For one, it's definitely to be easy on yourself. Like it's not easy to be deprived of the last few months of your year 12 learning, and also the social aspect of it all of a sudden. Like the current year 12 cohort also had to deal with last year's pandemic when they were in year 11. And so I think it's definitely an unfair experience, and definitely something that I really, really don't think like anyone should have go through. And in this case, I think one, being easier on yourself. Two, it's also being like understanding that like you are still doing your best and you don't expect this to happen at the start of this year, and look how far you've come. You know, the best thing you can do is be available for your peers and motivate each other and study together and have fun together leading into the exams, because that's definitely something that you'll wish you did in the future if you don't. And also, it's like everyone is going under the same experience, and everyone feels equally as demotivated. And so I think just take it easy on yourself and do your best, because the results will show how much you cared. And it's not the end of the world, even if you don't meet your super high expectations.
Definitely.
I realized that going into uni, like getting there is one thing, but also realizing that you have the freedom to do whatever you want, even if you don't meet your goal from high school. It's reassuring. Like you can transfer into any degree you want.
Yeah, pretty much.
A final reflective question. So, thinking back to where you were at the end of high school, is there anything that has surprised you about yourself and where you'd be? And what would be one piece of advice you'd give to your year 12 self?
100%. Like 3 years ago, I wouldn't have imagined that I would even let alone be at NSW or be meeting my outperforming my own expectations and being around people and being involved in student communities and volunteering. I did not ever see myself doing that 3 years ago. And it's kind of scary thinking that I did graduate 3 years ago. Like it was like last week was the anniversary of it. Everything surprised me, honestly. And regarding the transition, definitely, like I did struggle because I think unlike most selective school people, 3/4 of your cohort doesn't go to the same uni. I think there was max about 4 people from a high school that came to UNSW, and also out of those 4, I don't really speak to more than 2 of them. And it's like the people that I knew in high school don't really comprise a part of my university experience. So in a sense, I just start off completely fresh. And whilst that was a bit uncomfortable in the first 3 months of uni, I think everything finds its own path and clicks into place. I don't feel left out or anything. I don't feel different because I didn't know people before uni. 3 years later, everything is fine. And I'm at a place where I didn't imagine myself that I would be. I'm involving myself with more than just studying and memorizing and doing questions on one of your subjects. It's doing and having a holistic experience with uni, not just studying part of it, which I realized even isn't the most important thing in the world. But regarding the last part of the question, if I could tell myself something to my year 12 self, it would be to, I guess it would be to be excited for the future, because in year 12, I wasn't exactly I was working, but I didn't know what I was working towards. I was just doing my best. And so I wasn't looking forward to anything. I was just going through the motions of it. So I guess telling myself that now from the past would be good, to be excited and look forward to uni, because soon everything will click into place. But yeah, that's it.